Swagat, this is the first time I've done one of these talks with headphones, and I'm told to not worry if you don't laugh, that it might actually be funny. So we're going to do this kind of blind. And as Mike said really well, Cannes is for the place, for the sea-level dreamers, where we feel the world to be in 3 to 5 years. MadFest is for us who actually have to do the work. And what Swagat and I felt we'd talk about today is a little bit more around, less about the AI tools that are out there's plenty of talks on that, but really, what are the challenges in adopting them in such an amazingly large and complex organization like Diageo? So I'd like to, first of all, welcome you.
Thank you.
And my first question, before we dive into that, really is in the fun stuff, is in the technology and the science. So tell me a little bit about yourself, and if you don't mind, if I'm allowed, just to talk a little bit what was interesting in Dragonfly from a science perspective with your background.
Yeah, hello everyone. Great being here. And so I think the first and foremost, I know nothing about science. My tutor is google.com, which all of us have, right? But I think there is what I've learned is that, there is a concept of system 1 and system 2, which all of us can Google and learn as much as I know. But in the simplest form, which I could understand, is system 1 is if all of us look at the back, on the first glance, we look at exactly the same place. That's our first look, and that's what drives the attention. System 2 is when you start building opinions. You'll say, I don't like the pink, or I like the yellow more. Why is the font written this way? And cultures, everything comes in. And that's the difficult part, right? But one of the reasons where, I find, system 1 attention tools really interesting, like Dragonfly, is that in our day-to-day business, a lot of us, I'm assuming, in marketing in some form, right? It's very important to get the first attention of a consumer. And that's the one which is easier. And that's the one which we can do, right? So we can very easily see what we are telling consumer, will they look at it. Of course, the second part is much more difficult. It's much more complex to understand different audience, and, accordingly figuring out what will work for them. So in my mind, let's consider system 1 will help us with the attention, and system 2 will help us to drive the retention much further.
Beautifully put very much, rather me. And if you want to hear more about Dragonfly, our stand is just over there, but I'm not here to pitch that. What I really am here to talk about is adoption of these tools. Now, when you're looking at a tool, any new AI tool, you've got an organization which is already full of busy people. I don't know how many thousands of creatives come out of your shop every day, and how many hundreds of people are working on them, and how many millions of emails are flying through the organization. And then you get a supplier like ourselves going, we've got this amazing Dragonfly tool that can hit your system 1. That's cool, but the heart of it is how on earth you make the change to me in the business, and how do you get that adoption? So let me start at the beginning. How do you, first of all, find an AI tool, or any tool, which you think, oh, this might make a change to our business?
I think the first step is, what is the problem? What are we trying to solve? That's the core to understand, and then see that what can solve my problem. Possibly that problem can be solved by just writing it on paper, or it needs a very AI-led tool, as AI is a word which has become very popular last few months, right? And hence understanding that what's the problem it's solving, and very clearly understanding you're not building another shiny toy. You've done it throughout our childhood, but this is a time that you need to be very conscious that this will not be a shiny toy, and hence I get the toy in the business because I like it, I want to talk about it, and then figure out what's the problem, right? So it should not be a solution trying to find a problem, but the other way around. That you figure out this is the main problem, this is the opportunity, and this is what we'll unlock. Because it's just not about getting a tool. In today's world, a lot of people say the world is democratized. A lot of these tools are, pay as you go, or very easy. You can literally pick your credit card and swipe and start using it. But it's the journey after that. What business outcome will it drive? What will you need from different stakeholders in the business for it to make it work? It's like a relationship. You have to nurture it for a while. And hence, it's important to find the right problem, what's going to solve it, and envision, is this something which is sustainable? Because also what happens is a lot of us pick up tens of tools and say that, let me do a test, A/B test. But it's very important that I'm testing. I also know that what's the end vision, and if this works, can we take it to the last mile or not? So I think the problem comes first. Do not chase after shiny toys is the key message.
So we're running around with our shiny tools trying to gather your attention, and you've got a problem you're trying to solve and you're mapping them. You talked a little bit about A/B testing for, we're probably, everyone's familiar with that, but how would you A/B test a tool when it comes in the business? Because you've got such a large organization, you can't get the whole organization to adopt it at once, I'd assume. What's the first couple of steps once you pick the tool and you're going through the testing process with the tool? Is it a small kind of localized test? Is it is there an ROI attached to that first test? What's in your mind at the very first months of the relationship with the new tool?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because you have to find the right, size of the problem as well. You can't go and solve for a, massive scale in the first go, and we'll not reach anywhere. At the same time, if we say that I'm going to test 3 creatives and decide, that's not going to happen, right? And hence, you have to find the right, size of the problem. After that, be very clear that if this works, will this take me, at a 10x or a 100x scale?
Got it.
So I think those two need to be balanced in where you find the right size of the problem, and at the same time, it's really scalable. So if this works, you can literally, push the button and move ahead.
And when you're coming with another amazing idea and a test, what does your boss say? What are the kind of questions you get to your business case?
It's interesting. Sometimes passion for certain creative areas or technology areas can actually get you sacked. Not that I have ever been, but yeah, I think you have to be rational. End of the day, I think the business does not want to hear the word AI, ML, NLP, and any jargon that we want to throw. They are very clear. What are you going to solve for? And hence, you would have seen me, I've been talking about solution solve for again and again, but that's the core. And hence, you need to find out that what is the big problem it's going to solve for. Let it be business, community, whatever you're getting the tool for, right? Find the right, problem that you're solving for, and then try to get a very tangible way of, how you're going to test as well.
That's brilliant. So you've got your problem, not your tool. So you've got your problem, you found a tool that's going to fit in it, and now you've got your test, you've got the boss on side, you've got your ROI story, you've got your scale story, and now it's real. So you've got through that first little test. Now you've got to get the whole organization to adopt. What are the kind of things you're thinking about when you're going out from your first proof of concept test and beginning to change the Diageo organization in the way that they are testing creative?
Reminds me of around 7 months back. I went with a set of 10 tools to one of very senior directors in one of very loved brands of ours. And she very politely said, what you have is amazing, but you need to remember, tools are not the task. And that was a very polite statement. I absorbed it and I came back, and it taught me a lot. Because when we say that, oh, I've got to solve for everything, I've got this set of tools that I'm going to use, you need to understand that that's not what the organization is driving after. You cannot get change in 10 places. You have to pick one place, a couple of places, or how they are, complementary working together to solve a problem, right? Once you have it, you need to be confident that this is something, when it works, everyone will definitely get benefit out of it. And that's I think the beauty of any scalable solution. Technology is what we're discussing today, and it's not about technology, about anything. The idea is something, shouldn't be yours, but it should be something you literally have borrowed from others, or which they didn't know that they're going to actually realize a year from now. And hence, when you have it really working, you show them tangible outputs. And again, the second thing is, do not go and talk to them about technology. Tell them about what's the simple problem that you're solving in the simplest way, and you'll have many more people who will come with the journey with you.
Got you. Oh, it's amazing. You've almost got ninja skills. So as someone who's been involved in a lot of AI tools, I've just seen adoption fail, and it's heartbreaking because the thing you've created is amazing, and it's going to change, but it just never really sticks. So it's like ninja skills you got to get through that. What about outside your company? So Diageo works with a lot of agencies, all companies work with a lot of agencies. How do you get your whole agency partners then on the same mission that you've managed to get on, the team in Diageo?
And yeah, this is a really interesting time. It's the first time, a lot of us, our agency, our marketing side in this forum today. And this has been a thing, right? That everyone says that AI is going to change the world.
It will.
Yeah, overstated thing. Of course, it's been changing the world since a decade at least,
Fair.
right? If not more. Um, the big thing is that again, we have a lot of our like creative agency partners who are saying, I'm going to get this AI, which will make it much more efficient, and it's a very awkward situation. What they're saying is, I'm getting a tool, which means that there are two ways of looking. One is being scared as an agency, saying that if I get this tool, then I'm going to do lesser work. That's one side of it. But the better side of that is, by doing this tool, we'll be doing much more together. So it's a mixed emotion right now. There are some of the people who are wanting to embrace the new world and already thinking that we'll get this technology together, and together for your business problem, this is what we'll solve. And then there are, of course, some purists who are like, the world's not going to change, nothing will change, we'll do exactly the same way, so forget about these tools. So I think next 6 months will define it pretty well.
Wow, it's incredibly complex, but I think a lot of your enthusiasm must get you through it. My enthusiasm was told off earlier. I got the nod that we haven't got much time. How can it have been 12 minutes already?
Oh, wow.
I'd like to ask you one question, maybe extend it a bit with the 3 minutes we have. And so at Dragonfly, we're a prediction business. You're in the prediction business. Tell me a little bit about your predictions of the next 3 or 4 years in creative. What do you feel is going to happen? What are we going to be talking about here in the future?
I think all of us are equally qualified and informed about predicting. All of our guesses are equally good. But I want to leave with one thought, which is, again, using Google to figure this out. We all fly quite often, right? We all fly in planes which are on autopilot. I'm sure all of us know about that. The first time autopilot plane took off was in 1912.
Wow.
Which is more than 100 years back, right? What autopilot has been doing is that autopilot is helping the pilot to set the right direction where we want to go, and helping them to get much more effective, much more efficient, and for safety in a plane, much more accurate. It's helping mitigate those risks. We are not in a different place. We all are the pilots right now in our own way, in marketing, in commercial, in social, community, whatever role we play. The key thing is that next 2 to 3 years and beyond will only, how do we act as a pilot, use the machines to reach the target, destination we want to go in the most efficient way. And the beauty is that all of a sudden we are not limited. We can do 10 times more things than we could have dreamt of doing with our resources we had. Resources in people, time, money, everything. So this really inspires me that, this is a great time. A lot of questions every day. Is AI going to take our jobs? Are we going to, will AI be over? AI is not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere. It's just that we're going to do much more in the coming time.
And you feel we'll be doing much more the higher function things as humans, only as humans can do, exactly. Which I think is a really, a brilliant vision. It's interesting. Thank you so much for spending the time. I hope you got the same that I would. It's not really it's not the tool, it's the problem. And that's great that that's the way you're seeing it. So that's really the way we should approach. And and adoption is a real challenge. These tools are amazing, but really thinking that through and having an expert like yourself to tap up every so often, to find out how big companies take on that adoption journey is the next, the next stage, I think. So thank you so much for sparing your knowledge and skills in the area, and I knew you'd be brilliant on stage, so thank you very much for coming up. And I'll be near the Dragonfly stage for the next couple of hours as well, and I know you'll be on stage. When are you next? You're in a Q&A soon as well, in quarter of an hour? So you can follow him again. Thank you very much for your time, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.